All right, guys, we're a bit late on these recaps. You guys have been asking me to recap the weekend's grappling. There was no MMA on. We were left with Polaris and WNO. Guys, I wanted to start this with a friendly commercial for FloGrappling fans, right? Mysteriously, strangely, around every major grappling event, the month-to-month option is gone. But this is your friendly reminder that if you subscribe to Flow Cheerleading, I personally am a big fan of Flow Cheerleading. I've called into their shows before. The month-to-month option always exists. And when you subscribe, you guys can view anything under the beautiful Flow Sports umbrella. So you can subscribe to Flow Cheer, tune in to a Gordon Ryan mystery box match, and then unsubscribe and come back when there's a good event again. But guys, we're gonna start with Polaris. I'm more going to talk about the stories of the weekend because there was fucking so many matches. Nobody watched all those matches. I promise you. I promise you. If we talk about Polaris, I think personally Polaris was a more exciting event just because of Fabricio Andre. This might be one of the best absolute performances from a little fella we've ever seen. So obviously Marcelo came second at ADCC in the open weight. Lachlan Giles had his performance. Fabricio Andre did not win, but he probably took the most fans home. So he takes out Owen Livesey. Owen Livesey, everyone's a big fan of him. He's scary. He looks like he should be in a Snatch movie. However, every time he hits a takedown, he stops to admire his work. He's standing there waiting for a receipt rather than engaging and securing a pin. I am a big fan of his work, again, like I said, but Fabricio Andre was able to take him out. That's super impressive as it is. Let alone his second match, he out-wrestles the current 88 kilo ADCC champion. And it was a pretty decisive match. The only thing Giancarlo really had was that armbar attempt, which was quite tight, but Fabricio got out of it. So I don't know if there's ever been a situation I can remember off the top of my head where a guy that was a 66 guy that didn't even make day two beat the current 88 champ, and he didn't just catch him. It was kind of a decisive victory there. So that is massive. That might be the story of the entire weekend, in my opinion. But what's interesting about that is Fabricio was in the AIGA team. Giancarlo was the captain of his AIGA team. I'm pretty sure because Fabricio lost to Garabek, we're here with Garabek in Bali right now. That's a banging match if you want to watch it. I think Fabricio is off the team, so I don't know if he came in with a bit of pep in his step, but he was able to take out the team captain of the team he was formerly a part of. He's definitely not going to be a part of the December AIGA team that he was previously a part of, but who knows what team he might be a part of next year. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people interested in that. I have to give a shout out to my teammate Ethan Krallenstein. I think his victory over Fabricio Andre has aged very well now after we've seen what this guy is capable of. Obviously, Kainan took out the whole event. He was pretty undeniable throughout the event. It felt like definitely he was going to win. He had strong matches throughout. I like Jason Rao calling him out for the first round. Jason Rao's a guy we've talked about forever. He might be one of the best guys in the gym in the history of the sport. Unfortunately, it seemed Kainan's gamesmanship, strength, athleticism was just a bit too much for Rao, so it's a pretty quick match. Kainan, he didn't really look uncomfortable throughout the whole thing, really, until I guess Fabricio Andre threw him. He had a great performance against Isaac, controlled the match. Isaac's a tough competitor. So yeah, great performance for Kainan. Good to see him bounce back after his previous loss to Marigali. I always say this, maybe I'm saying this because I want it to be true, but you never know what Kainan you're going to get. You could get a Kainan that might lose to someone you don't expect him to, or you could get a Kainan that looks like one of the best guys in the world. He definitely looked like one of the best guys in the world for this event. I wish I personally could face that Kainan that occasionally doesn't turn up, but he always brings it for me. Now, let's talk about who's number one. Who's number one was a good card. Obviously, we had Gordon's return. Gordon went against Patrick Gaudio. They had a close match years and years ago. A lot of people criticize Gordon for taking on a match against a guy that's not even in the top 15. But how can you blame the guy? When we're in the UFC, Dana White calls the shots. Conor McGregor has his privileges, but Dana White calls the shots. When it comes to FloGrappling, Gordon calls his shots. So Gordon can face whoever he wants for whatever set price he wants. In grappling, because nobody cares about grappling, there's no such thing as pay-per-view points, so there's no incentive for Gordon to face a more interesting, tougher, bigger selling competitor than he is to take a competitor he's sure he can beat. There's no question how good he is. He destroyed Gaudio really in every facet of the game. The only thing I will say is he gets to pick the rules. He gets to pick the rules. Most of us in this sport rarely have matches over 10 to 15 minutes. Gordon is kind of a no time limit expert. So when he picks what submission he's going to do, that is impressive. You cannot deny that. But really, at the point at which he submitted Patrick Gaudio, he had used technique to fatigue Gaudio to the point where you probably could have got a buggy choke, he could have got a go-go flat, he could have got whatever he wanted. To me, it was an impressive performance. To me, I don't think he needs to have a comeback match, a warm-up match in any capacity, because it hasn't even been really a year since he double gold at ADCC or he faced Nicky Rod. The man's healthy. If you have stomach problems, you waste away. This guy is turning more and more into a fucking incredible Hulk every day. If you have stomach problems, you can't eat. If your muscles grow, you're probably fucking eating. So I think the guy is in fine form to take on whoever he wants. But again, he calls the shots. FloGrappling answers to Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan can face whoever he wants. He wants to take on Lucas Barbosa next. Barbosa had an MMA fight at 170 pounds for perspective. So guys, that is who he has next. I know who he's facing in December. I can't say it yet. People will probably be upset with me if I release that. But yeah, in my opinion, the proper 12 thing was a bit weird. I think he's trying to gently caress Conor McGregor's nuts in an attempt to get some social media shout outs and in an attempt to piss off Dylan Dennis, who's obviously Conor McGregor's grappling coach and good friend. But he said this was the greatest sports marketing ploy in history. Obviously, as we saw, it's up there with Air Jordans. What is crazy about Gordon is he is marketable in spite of his charisma, not because of it. You guys put him on the mic, he sounds like Brendan Sharp. So, in my opinion, he's that good that he's still popular despite his lack of charisma in front of the mic, behind the camera. Obviously, it sounds like I sound like I'm hating on the guy, but he's just hard to like. You guys know what I mean. In terms of the rest of the match, obviously, Mica, J-Rod, it's probably match of the event. That was crazy. Honestly, I don't know if Mica wanted J-Rod because he thought J-Rod's hard to armbar. He's easy to get into an armbar, he's hard to finish. I want to be that guy. Or because I made enough jokes about Mica failing the drug test and his dad hating me that he wanted to kill J-Rod to get back at me. Mica Galvao, the milkman, he did message me after my video calling me an idiot motherfucker. Maybe we'll clip that up in there. It's a funny message. No Google Translate necessarily, thank God. But that was the most exciting match of the event. Mica looked crazy. Everyone loves J-Rod. J-Rod looks good no matter. If he goes out and loses, everyone still walks away and loves him because he really gives it all he's got. And he does not tap easy. The guy's a psychopath, but he is using technique because he walks away from these matches uninjured. He walks away uninjured despite what everyone thinks. We worked a lot of Choi bar, arm bar defense, so he was ready for that going into this match. Defensively, he looked incredible. Offensively, obviously there's some holes to fill. I don't want to praise him too much for how good he did against Mica. Again, remember, he's been training less than 4 years. Mica's been training probably since he was 4. So put that in perspective, but also I'm not going to compliment him too much because obviously we believe he could win. Otherwise, we wouldn't have let him do the event. We're not going to let. There's no point us putting J-Rod into a match we don't think he can win. So we think he can win, and that's very important in how we look at this match. PJ against Andrew Tackett, crazy, crazy match. PJ always game. Unfortunately, they both got injured in this match. PJ looked like he got a concussion. Andrew Tackett hurt his back, couldn't continue. It was a scrap. PJ persevered. It's hard facing these kids because they got too much fucking energy. Went into the final. Andrew Tackett couldn't continue. PJ Barch replaces him, gets armbarred. A crazy, Mica has this ability to use this mirror lock pressure to secure an arm. And then if you try to pull your arm out, he throws the leg over the head and gets an armbar. That was, in my opinion, the best armbar of the night, maybe the most proper armbar of the evening. It was a good night for the Brazilian guys. Mica takes out the tournament. Diego Hayes takes out the tournament. Gabriel Souza hit a knee bar on Ash Williams. Ash Williams is really renowned for how hard he is to heel hook, but Gabriel Souza went into a leg locking position. Everyone expects a heel hook, but obviously he switched it off to the knee bar. It's harder to slip a knee bar when you're expecting a heel hook. So that was very, very impressive. Again, I've been talking shit on FloGrappling. That was a good event, full of exciting matches. But in my opinion, story of the entire weekend was Fabricio Andre's massive, massive testicles and how he performed over the entire event.